Go Beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chris Cast, sponsored by Manco Store. We have some Week 3 action from ETF2L Premiership Division Season 22 of Highlander. It's been two teams who have been struggling for points. Kitty's bakenbardami have picked up 1 from their first 2 fixtures. Ugandan Pizza Police have picked up 0. And I would say both of these teams would be trying to eye up that third spot potentially to get into the playoffs for the end of the season. I am CeeJaey, joined by ArchRhythm on production, and I do believe Lucky will be jumping in a moment to cast for us. But I'm going to run down the rosters of the two sides we've got for you today. In the blue, we have Kitty, the Russian powerhouses. And the beasts from the east, we have Meef on Scout, Turek on Soldier, Fridge on Pyro, Plucha on Demo, Pahan on Heavy, Marissa on Engineer, Boshi on Medic, Cloudy on Sniper, and Magister on Spy. Meanwhile, Ugandan Pizza Police are in the red, and they'll consist of Kazuke on Scout, Skyper on Soldier, Sack on Pyro, Redwood Demo, Poi Heavy, Dragon Slayer on Engineer, Sebastiani on Medic, Fundo on Sniper, and Nebula on Spy. And as we can see, it is going to be Kitty in the blue attacking first. They'll be trying to set the time, and Cloudy, running the Huntsman, gets an arrow straight into the face of Fundo, and that is a sniper pick very, very early on. As we know, on Steel, often you just let a point be capped, you just let it roll, and we can see Kitty already just getting their players, making sure that they're ready for a potential rotation. We could see a push through onto E here. Nebula was on the A point, cloaked for Pizza Police, and gets caught out, gets taken down there by Turek. So the eyes and ears from that side of the map are kind of closed right now. Kazuke has been pushed away, as has Skyper, so they don't really have control of the E point anymore. And Magister is giving the information on the B side, and that is going to cause the rotation coming in from Pizza Police. And the C is actually going to be a drop-down play from Kitty. They've gone into drop-down. The Saps have come down. Dispenser is down. The Sentry is in a really passive position, and Sack gets dropped out of the Uber. No Pyro on the defense, and Cloudy's still running. That Huntsman takes down Poi with the arrow to the head. The Engineer has yoinked that Sentry out of the B point. 5 players down for Pizza Police right now. Pluha and Fridge are in the respawn queue for Kitty, but they'll be up much, much faster due to the faster spawn times. And look at that, Turek already getting aggressive, just making sure that pressure is constantly being put on. Fundo goes down. He's going to be taking a while to respawn as well. Nebula is lurking on this B point, but Kitty looking really good so far. 132 for the first 2 points. And it does look like they want to get some pressure on this E point. There is a Sentry. Dragon Slayer just watching the E point, and it does look like Bluehead's going to try and spam that a little bit, but the Wrangler means it's not going to go down. Cloudy is still running the Huntsman, and Redwood goes down. Demo is dead for the defending side, and Demo is one of the most important classes on this map, and without their Demo, it does look like Kitty want to push in to the C point here, just coming up to Shelf now, but it does look like Pizza Police are nearly, they can actually use the Uber, and the only person here for Pizza Police is Sack. Seb is going to use his Uber, and Cloudy again with the Huntsman takes down Fundo, and huge plays here from Sack. Actually manages to get a couple of kills, so keeping his team in this right now. Equal Ubers essentially, but a little bit awkward because they're constantly losing players, and Poi is actually playing on the high ground close to B. Cloudy is going alongside with Boshi and Plucha, and Poi might get, no, he actually backs down from the cliff. He's in position. Plucha's going to jump up, and Cloudy is just farming with this Huntsman right now. Gets another kill onto Poi. Arrow through the head, and he's going to start capping that C point by himself, and it doesn't look like Pizza Police are going to be able to block this because Redwood's gone down to Plucha. No stickies. Sack is going to clean up both Fridge and Plucha. He's taken down a lot of players, but this C point is well and truly halfway capped, and yeah, there's not going to be much around. Kazuki is going to push forward. Actually, the Uber is going to be used. Boshi has his Uber. He's just going to use it onto Bahan. There's not really many players that they can use the Uber on, but Bahan is cleaning house right now. Takes down Kazuki. Turek is going to take down Skyper. And those are two classes that you kind of want to keep alive. Redwood goes down again. Cloudy with this Huntsman is just doming people left, right, and center. And 3 players left alive for Ugandan Pizza Police. 328 for that C point. They're already getting some cap time onto E. There is that level 3 dispenser. Is going to shoot Meef across the point, but there we go. Magister is there, gets the sab down. Lots of pressure. Turek with the conch, just perfectly coming in just at the right time. Magister with that ambi actually taking down the engineer with a headshot, and there are caps going down on E, but the decap has stopped for the time being, and Pizza Police do have their respawns now. Boshi goes down. Fundo is bringing out the arrows himself, deciding that, you know, 2 can play at that game. Takes down the medic, and without a medic here, it's a lot less stable for Kitty, but the sticky's on the doorway. Gets some damage down. Fundo actually gets another kill, and lots of players dying for both sides, but Pluher's gone down, and that's just area denial out of the question. No demo for Kitty. Cloudy is still picking up kills with this Huntsman, just throwing them around. And the cap is like 60-70% capped right now on the E point, but the longer this fight goes on, the better it's going to be for Pizza Police. They're going to use that Uber. Kazuki is going to take the majority of it. He's on the chase. He wants kills. He wants frags, but he's gone the wrong way. He's gone to C. He's going to go for the long play. He's going for the long con here, going all the way around through behind BC and maybe trying to catch out Bosch. He's only at 70%. Does get some damage down, but it's not going to be enough. Does get caught, and Fridge is going to be easily cleaning that up. And simultaneous caps going down for a moment there, but the focus is definitely on the E point right now. Kitty have got control of this spawn area. The Uber's going to be used onto Fridge. Sack goes down, Nebula goes down, Poi goes down. It's all going to be down to Redwood, but he can't do anything by himself. Seb is running away, and he will survive for the logs, but it's not going to be enough to help his team. 524 is... It's hard to say if this is a fast time, because...
Take a breath, CeeJaey.
Take a breath. Lucky's here. Talk to me, Lucky. Tell me about Steel. I'm going to have a drink.
Yeah, have a drink, sir. That was impressive. Nice solo cast, sir. Very, very, very impressive. Hi, guys. I'm Lucky. I've just joined to stand in for a caster, but I'm here now. CP Steel, though. I stepped in at the right moment, right at the end there. Do enjoy me some Steel action. I'm going to be honest, CeeJaey. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great because it's Steel week, and, you know... Steel. I'm going to say this. I never casted Steel with you, Lucky, so I can say this and get away with it, because every time I say it to other casters, they're like, oh, CeeJaey, you said it. Steel is the Marmite of Highlander maps. You either love it or you hate it.
I'm a
There's
big
no
love
in
fan.
between.
I'm a big love fan. I do love me some CP Steel. I like the diversity the map brings to the pools. You know, it's got multi capture points, so you can capture A and E at the same time. I feel like that is something that's like, you know, it's the only map that has it. Whereas in payload, it's very standard. You got the step-by-step payload, capture the points, go forwards, all that jazz. But this is, you know, it's got a lot more strategy to it, CeeJaey.
Absolutely, and that's something that's always like tossed around. Steel does differentiate a team that is just pure DM from a team that actually is coordinated and has that synergy. And we did see a really, really impressive push coming out of Kitty there. Individual plays definitely coming in from, you know, the likes of Cloudy, Pluher, you know, getting those big kills, those big picks that just caused the openings and allowed their team to go through. But they're going to have to do stuff on the defense now. Pluher actually finds Nebula there with the pipes. But yeah, this is what we kind of... This is the really tentative moment. Are we going to see an E-push? No, we see the immediate drop-down play.
They are just going to flood all the way into this lower area, but they're all getting cleaned up here. They did get the Uber out of the red side. Nebula as well, managing to sneak his way in behind the heavy as well. So it looks like they managed to get what they needed, and now they're going to be able to set something up to get this sentry gun down. And of course that engineer pick, absolutely massive. Didn't get that flash in time, so no one's repairing the sentry gun. So it's only going to take a tiny bit of damage before it goes down, and they're already pressuring with Sebastiani in tow, and they pop out that Uber immediately. They're going to clear up that sentry gun and chase onto the medic as well, who's actually going to get caught here potentially. He does in fact go down there, so great for Kazuki to find that medic pick, and they've managed to keep that medic safe in the meantime. Magister not able to find anything, and that's going to be a free B point.
Yeah, I was actually going to criticize Pizza Police and saying, if you're going to go for the drop-down push, you need to get the bait onto E. You need that pressure onto E and then quickly rotate to drop-down, because you go through drop-down, you see what happens. You just get absolutely mulched. But they didn't bring their medic. it wasn't a push, it was a force. And they managed to get the force onto Boshi, and that push with their Uber was pretty clinical. And now they're in a really, really strong position here because Kiti are going to try and hold on to C, but they have an Uber disadvantage. And actually, Pizza Police have control of E right now. They've got players on the cap, they have control of the BC corridor, and with an Uber disadvantage, Kiti are going to find it really difficult to try and push that.
Yeah, it looks like they are trying to snipe it out from main. They are now getting some stickies on it and some good spam damage onto this Pyro, who's currently on the point, going to dodge that Iron Bomb and Roller. Headshot rings out to Turek, does go down, and the Scout gets taken down eventually. So that cap pressure no longer there. They've got no one that can get on top of that point. They've lost their Soldier, Pyro, and Scout class, as well as losing Fundo. So it looks like they are just going to do a bit of a regroup now. They have got that sentry gun covering east still, so you can only question whether they're going to go for it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it. 251. That big pick onto Seb, though, Cloudy getting the body shot means Boshi has full Uber charge now. And I think at that point, as the attacking team, you don't throw in the towel, but you just say, all right, everyone regroup. We got a different plan now. It does look like the combo from Redwood and Poi, they're all going towards the E spawn. And Sebastiani is actually making his way around now. So they're trying to lock down this E spawn. And get onto the far side, but that's leaving BC pretty well open and not protected. And Magister's managed to take down the sentry gun that was in BC, so this is an interesting play, and it's taking a long time for the Russian side to actually counter, and they've used the Uber, and Sebastian is going to have to try and get away here. He's not in a great position. Move is on the chase. He lands one shot. Can he get another? Sebastian falls into the pit, and just extremely odd positioning from the entirety of the team there. Less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think that they are in desperation just going directly for the C point. They don't think that they can capture the C point. They can't use Nuba Charge to destroy the sentry gun too easily. It is on the high ground there, so it's pretty hard to manage to take down that sentry gun. Maybe a direct hit or a lock and load potentially, a bit of a weapon switch up. Something that you don't really want to do because you are committing quite a lot to do that. To get that sentry gun down, but then you've got to roll it all the way through, so they really have no other choice but to go and all in for this E point right now. And if Red Team can read this and just bring their defense all the way to the E point and just defend it and hold on to it, then it's game over.
Yeah, exactly. Once you know that the attacking team has to go for the E point, then it makes it very, very difficult. Fundo with a nice headshot onto Bahan there, but it was Cloudy who got 2 players down. Nebula with a cheeky double stab. So, you know, Cloudy and Fridge have been doing a lot on this defense tonight. And look at that, Kitty with only 4 players alive right now. Not looking too good for them in terms of blocking this E point, because Pluher is the only one who's in any sort of position to do this. He's got Boshi for company. There is an Uber. He's actually doing it. Oh no, Redwood slips off the edge of the point.
Nebula! Sorry to cut you off there. Nebula just drops down on top of the demo man who was standing in the spawn door. So that spam pressure is now gone. He managed to get the drop stab onto him. They don't even have to use this Uber out onto the point. That demo pick is pretty huge. And now Nebula still in behind in that spawn, looking like he's going to be trying to find something else here. But it looks like they managed to clean up the players currently on the point. But Kazuki down, gets some cap time. The sentry gun from lower, though, actually shooting him in the feet to push him off the point.
That is so smart from Marissa. That sentry has even forced Redwood to go down, and I can say later why that is such a brain play. Redwood is going to jump onto the point now, but there's a sticky waiting for him from Pluher. Sack's going to try it. There are stickies waiting for him too. 10 seconds. I don't think it's going to be possible. Meef is just jumping around the point, just blocking it. Magister is kind of just standing on the cliff in the pit. He doesn't want to die for the luck. Sebastian, he manages to jump onto the point, but Turek is stood on there. And we saw that, you know, you talked about knowing that the enemy is going to go for the E point. You know that they have to go for it, and it was just so smart because that sentry in the lower area just stops anyone from getting onto the point. Hey, you know, you live and learn. Best of 3 on Steel in a regular week, so they have another chance to get back in this.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely change stuff around. You know, they're gonna come away from this and think, all right, guys, it's just one game at a time. You just gotta think about what you did wrong last time, try and rectify it. The other team are gonna be in the mindset of, we've just won that one, we should continue doing the same thing potentially. Or they may be thinking now about how this other team is gonna come back into this game, choose their weaknesses, and that is gonna show which team is really strongest. You know, if a team can win a game and still think about what they did wrong, that's really where they're gonna survive and get victories in the bag. And of course, we're just seeing, you know, as per usual, this B-side defense with the sentry going to get us up on the high ground.
Yeah, I mean, adaptation, I think, is the biggest thing in TF2. Whether you're playing sixes, Highlander, whatever, you need to adapt to what your enemy is throwing at you. And, you know, Pizza Police know what they did wrong because they didn't win. They need to correct that and, you know, do it better. They need to tighten up that defense a little bit and work on where they're pushing for their attack. But I totally agree with what you're saying. Kiti need to look at this and say, hey, you know, that wasn't the easiest win we've ever actually had, so we need to make sure that we don't let it happen again. Pluha trying to go for the barrel stickies. It's a complicated science, as you can see, but who knows. But yes, Pizza Police will be pushing first in the blue, Kiti in the red, and we'll see if they can get back into this or if Kiti are going to make it a clean sweep.
Looks like they're heading in towards this A side point. Once again, there's going to be no contention on this point. Just going to be checking 4 stickies in the barrel, and they do find them out. They're just going to clear those up. And Dragon Slayer actually gets caught there. It does go down. So 1 casualty already for the blue side. Just an engineer though, so not too much of a deal. He's going to respawn and be able to push from that shutter side with whatever he has set up. And we're going to see if they want to go for this drop down play once again. Top of this Cloudy sniper who's staring up. Go on, Cloudy. Go on. Do it. Do it to him. Do it to... He's taunting.
Taunting dead is something that, you know, is a very common call, I feel. We're just kind of waiting right now. It does look like Pizza Police are just healing up and getting ready to go for some sort of drop-down play. And it was predicted by... Actually, no, Marissa gets backstabbed by Nebula, and the sentry is going to be sapped. So no force on Toboshi this time around. However, they do manage to get rid of the engineer and get rid of the sentry, and that's going to make it much, much easier. And it's going to be pretty beneficial for Pizza Police if they decide to go for an exchange this time.
There you go, they do get Nebula in the backline, but that's not too much of a big deal. They've already gotten rid of that gun, so he's done all the work that he needs to do. Now they just need to decide who they're focusing and how they're going to get the super out of Boshi and make it worth their while. Poi actually moving onto that high ground is going to destroy that. Actually, no, he's going to sit on top of the teleporter exit. I think Bahana's spotted him though, as these Ubers do get traded out and lower. Actually, I say they get traded out. It just seems to be the red team that have used their Uber out here. Plux is just going to be relaxing, chilling out, as Poi now gets spotted on that high ground. It's just going to feed his life away to the level 1 sentry gun and Poi at the same time. Nebula has managed to make his way through the door, however, and the conch has also been used, so getting quite a lot out of this red side.
Yeah, actually, pretty good, pretty good. Cloudy just on the respawn now, and it was almost a bit of a bait play. It looked like they're going to go for an exchange, and instead just force Boshi, just make him use his Uber, back out, kept their medic nice and safe, and there's not really much you can do as long as that Pyro is just defending. You know, and you take a look how passive they are this time. They don't want to get caught out again. Here comes the Uber, mostly onto Redwood. He's going to jump forward. There's a wrangled level 3 sentry, and actually Fridge pushes away Nebula to stop the sap coming down, and Redwood gets taken down. Pluha gets taken down. Pluha takes down Sebastiani, I should say. So the heals are on the side of the Russian team, and they're going to start cleaning up a few kills here.
Yeah, Sebastiani also got taken down in the midst of that action to a sticky trap from Pluxa that was against the wall, and it looks like they're going to clear the rest of these players as well. There is quite a lot of cap time down, and now they're trying to bring reinforcements, so they've managed to get through this doorway. But it looks like the red team is starting to get set up a little bit more. Marissa's setting up that sentry gun back in the corridor just so he can have a bit of metal there. Turret gets taken down, and we have got Kazuki on the capture now, so this should be it. He should be able to get this, but the red even now comes out. They're not able to block in time, unfortunately. Pluxa going forwards, trying to find Sebastiani in the backlines. He does try to stick off that door. Sebastiani chooses a pipe, but then he gets taken down. Sebastiani is going to survive that engagement, but Redwood going down as well. Fridge eventually dies on that second point, and now the red team are just going to be retreating back towards their C point, building that sentry gun up once more. Marissa doing a good job of understanding the game state, unable to defend that point much longer.
Yeah, and just taking a look at Kazuki still on the chase. I do feel that Uber was maybe not the smartest move coming out of Kiti, because there was no hope of them blocking that B point for any longer, and they went so deep, they lost a few players. They're going to have to defend C, and again we're in a similar situation where there's an Uber advantage for Pizza Police. They use it, but it's just straight into a sentry. Redwood, Skyper, they're all trying to jump, but they're just jumping into bullets. Fridge has gone down, and they managed to take down Marissa as well. That sentry gun has finally gone down too. They've lost a few players here, but Boshi has stayed alive and has an advantage, and I think this C point may be done and dusted, but you never know with teams like this. They want to defend it, and they're going to solo Uber Pluha to try and stop the cap, and he's jumping forward. Can he get Sebastian? He hits the pipe. Magista's there, Meef's there. They're going to try to fall him to death. No!
Sebastiani hits him in there with the statue. The solemn vow does eventually get taken down, but Sebastiani did such a good job of surviving there. Like I said, man, these Russian players, they love to just run at you. You know they're going to do this. They're going to Uber out this door. Cap's about to go through. It seems like a mindless play, but they just catch you. They're going to run at you. That's all they want to do. They had that advantage to play with, and they used it. and that was more important than anything else. They managed to retain this C point now, so a lot of time has actually been bought by them using that Uber, and it's back to an even Uber scenario, or a slight ad for the red team in fact. So they're opting now to go for this E point. We have got Redwood jumping forwards now, going to be sticking off that spawn door as well, just trying to get some space down on this E point so they can start getting some pressure down, and hopefully force a few rotations so they can make that flank in towards the C point.
Yeah, Marissa is the only person on the C point right now. Nebula is lurking, going to sap the sentry. They're going to try and 1v1, but that sentry will go down on C, and this is usually the bait and switch. Try to go for the simultaneous caps onto E. It will go down, you know, not very far because everyone's just going to be rotating to block it, but it does in turn mean that that C point will be captured by the flank coming in. Skyper and Nebula working really well together to take down the sentry and get the capture, and like we said, that C point means the bridges come out, and that allows more players to get access to that E point. But Sebastian is still only at 75% right now, doesn't quite have the charge. He's going to start rotating over to C and maybe going through the death corridor, which is a very interesting play. They will get Uber by the time they get to D. They will be on the high ground. It's all about if Kitty are going to be aware of this and can rotate to the right place. But lucky it does look like they're aware. Fridge is being led by Boshi, and they're ready to counter it.
Yeah, they're ready to just blast and place back with this, and Redwood now dropping to the low ground. He does have to use the Uber on him to save his life. This Pyro Fridge doing such a good job of just stopping them from doing anything with this Uber. And now it's just a bit of a Pyro on Pyro action. Sebastiano has been caught, and he is currently on fire on the ground. He needs a sandwich desperately, but it is degreased the flame to hover, so that reduced burn damage and reduced afterburn timer is going to mean that Sebastiani does survive, but 1 point of damage is really going to take him down. Magister here coming in behind, trying to clear up Sebastiani if he can, but there's capture time now coming down to E point and D point simultaneously, as the D point now gets defended well actually by Turek, who sacrifices his life away there. Poi just going to get healed up with the sandwich while they cap out this E point. They have managed to get that sentry gun down as well to defend these players that get onto this point, and they're going to need bodies on it soon, CeeJaey, because this capture time is coming in thick and fast.
Yeah, based on the spawn waves, it's going to be very, very difficult. Cloudy is in toilet trying to get an angle, but just getting spammed by everyone on the point. It's all going to be about, can you get onto the point and just get some kills and maybe just slow it by some extra seconds. And Marissa is doing that. The mini sentry, little rotate, takes down both Sack and Redwood. So that's bought some time. The Hans done a great job making everyone look towards the BC. And look at me, just onto the point, just DMing everybody where he can. And this is all it is. It's just about buying those extra few seconds that may become crucial on the return. And they force the Uber as well, so they can't capture Sebastian. He's falling down, and actually they're just buying more and more time as it's all going on. The cap still hasn't gone down. Redwood's having to rotate to the low to take down this pesky mini sentry. Kazuki goes onto the point and caps, but that was at least, you know, 30 seconds where everything that the Kitty did there, they knew they weren't going to block that E point, you know, in the long term. But it's all about buying those extra few seconds. Those extra few seconds could turn into 10, 20, 30. And that difference, you know, is between getting a sub 7 minute time, which is a lot, you know, a lot more dangerous on the scoreboard, to a plus 7 minute time where you kind of think, actually, that doesn't look too good for Pizza Police right now. So Kitty know that if they do the same as they did in that first attacking phase, they'll be absolutely fine. But of course, Pizza Police will have also learned a few things on their defense as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, those couple seconds that they managed to buy, I mean, that was when it comes down to the wire. And how many games have we actually seen come down to that wire? They've just bought themselves, I don't know, 30 wires to play with, which is, like, you know, quite huge. But they have managed to get the sentry gun bit on the B point as well. So they are just mimicking the same holders their predecessors who were previously defending. And it looks like they have set up with a few players, actually, just going to be chilling out inside this spawn for the time being. Suki looking to rotate up. And we have actually got Nebula, who's chilling on that high ground, is going to get spotted, it looks like, quite early on. Just going to be rotating around, trying to make sure that he can spot players out. But he's not going to find this medic, as they're going to capture up this A point pretty easily as per usual. No big surprises here, apart from Magister going down rather early on, so no spy for the side of the blue team to spot out anything that they've got going on that B point.
Yeah, Fundo is just watching. He takes an arrow in a very, very unfortunate place. Let's just say he won't be he probably won't be producing offspring anytime soon. But those arrows from Cloudy are just going down that tunnel you were talking about, and it's not allowing Fundo to get a clean sightline onto anyone coming down, and they have to back off here. And he's just flinging the arrows, but if they're not aware, Poi is aware. He can see the entire enemy team is busting up to the high ground. That teleport has gone down as well, and it looks like Kitty want to come in from above.
Meef just mega brain Poi. He put on the bonk atomic punch, ran at that heavy, tanked all of the damage while the demo was shooting stickies over his head. So they managed to take down that heavy just using bonk atomic punch. Excellent play. Sack now going to be jumping up. He's going to go on top of Turk and just going to clean out that corridor and make sure no more aggression comes through. That sentry gun's still up. Magister manages to get underneath the sentry gun. Oh my god, he jumps into the rocket and dies! But he does manage to get the sack down. But it looks like Uber's now being traded inside of the doorway. We've got Redwood just going to be planting a load of stickies down, so they don't want to go any further. And that is going to just be that situation evening out here. But it looks like the blue players have got a few more stronger players up currently. They've all healed up, and it looks like they're going to be shoving through even more. Py-bun going to be reaching that high ground eventually. Going to spam down to Redwood, but Redwood with the trap to clean up that heavy really early on. Turret getting in behind, but doesn't really manage to find anything. And they've still got this dispenser. This dispenser is actually putting in a lot of work for the red side.
Yeah, it's healing, and I have to say, you know, Pizza Police are holding their nerve. They're not backing away. They're not giving any space. They don't want to give up. Skyper is there. You know, Redwood may be down, but Skyper is taking up that role of trying to deny the entrance with splash damage and takes down Pluher in the process. And I feel Turek was a little bit baited there. He jumped in and managed to get decent damage onto both Sebastiani and Redwood, but no one else followed up with it. And now Pizza Police have regrouped and got themselves in a pretty decent position. Cloudy and Bahan have a bit of high ground, and Poi's gone down, and it's all about whether they can actually get a better exchange here, but their Uber is over, lucky by the time Pizza Police have even used theirs.
Yeah, unfortunately they didn't lose their demo man though, and that's a pretty big deal here, since they only found Meef, and they actually find Pluxer at the end of it, because Suki actually went so deep that he died for it. As they do manage to clean up that sentry gun in the doorway, but they've had to give up a lot of room for this. It has bought enough time for Dragon to get his level 3 sentry gun, however, but it is at the back of the point, so it's going to be easily spammed from that balcony area that the sniper of Fundo is watching. Magister actually going in for the sap now, just going to manage to bring it down with the assistance of Bahan from that high ground I was talking about previously. As he starts trying to rebuild that sentry gun, they do pop out this conch actually, and they are going to move forwards with it without supercharge. They're just cleaning players up. There's huge damage into this blue side. Fridge goes down as well. Magister gets a backstab on towards Sack, but is going to get another stab actually to Redwood, and that Demo Man going down is going to pay dividends with these long respawn timers, but they managed to buy themselves so much more time with that.
Wow, Boshi survives that. He was down to about 6 HP, and it was the dispenser put by Marissa just in the corner. He just sat inside it as like body armor, got the heals, and is able to, you know, Meef won the fight against Kazuki, and now look, they're able to re-push this in an equal situation, but some of the players on the side of Pizza Police are respawners, maybe not in a great position. Fridge with these reflex, absolutely insane, takes down Skyper, but the Uber's coming in. Sack's levitating due to the sentry gun. A lot of players are dying on both sides, but the spawns are going to be better for the attackers, and with no demo, no pyro, and no soldier, it's going to be really hard for Pizza Police to stop this kind of snowball effect. But Nebula's lurking, can't get Boshi. This is just chaotic.
It's all over the place. Now Poi is even in as well. They're trying desperately to buy themselves some more time, because they know that if they manage to block this point even a little bit more, then they'll be able to get some time down. But they do find Boshi actually with the stickies, and that's going to buy them so much time here. Sebastiani living is just going to retreat all the way back. He does not need to commit whatsoever. He just needs to get that Uber and play back, and he's going to be buying minutes of time for his team.
Yeah, I mean, we consider this was a 7-minute and 20 time set by Pizza Police. Not the best time you would want for your attacking phase. They've already chalked off nearly 5 minutes of that on the first 2 points alone. And Kitty are under pressure right now. They're going to have to start getting some kills and start winning some, you know, big fights. They still have to try and get C or E in reality to actually have any sort of chance here. There is already a sentry gun by Dragon Slayer up in the high ground. Meef is actually picking up a lot of kills. Takes down Poi, takes down Fundo, and then takes down Sack. He's just taking names. And Sebastian used the Uber and is now somehow 1 HP. What is going on, Lucky? How is Pizza Police bleeding out?
They are getting ran at by this Russian side. They're not expecting this aggression coming out from their side, and they're not playing together. And I feel like that's just getting them picked one by one, and they're losing ground. Boshi now, with his Uber charge, is going to be able to push in towards this D site since they're taking C. And this should be relatively free. Now, Sebastiani, all he needs to do is survive. But when you've got these players that are going to be barreling down on you with an Uber advantage, 2 pick classes in the spy and the sniper, it's a lot to ask for. So we're going to see if he can make this happen here. Just playing around his pyro and his heavy, trying to keep himself as safe as possible, as they've got to defend out this E point in the end. The rest of the blue side now moving in towards that D point. Plux is going to be taking that ground spawn out for stickies. Won't see any. Bosch is going to move in for free. And there's no real pressure down. Redwood on that spawn, actually just going to be trying to get some damage down. Just going to spot out this medic here, as they do actually use the Uber on the point. The stickies come down, and Boshi just uses So that is going to be an Uber charge absolutely negated as Uber Face coming into the room. Boyce is going to be shredding them right now, and they just get cleaned up. Boshi gets killed by Redwood, and Poi has found 3 frags. And that's going to mean that they're unable to do anything here as they didn't cap D, and they've got no cap time on E with 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, with a minute and a half, they really needed to go for that E point rather than go around to the D. But Cloudy with the body shot onto Sebastian. He gets the drop, and maybe his boys team another lifeline. There is a sentry in their way. That's going to be taken down by Pahan, and they have enough time for this E point. It takes 40 odd seconds. Pluha manages to take down Sack. No Pirate. There needs to be more bodies on the point if they're going to get this. Kazuki jumps forward, but gets taken down, and Boshi is going to die in all of this chaos. But only 3 left alive at Pizza Police. Kitty needs bodies on the point, but Pluha falls off. He falls off the point and just tumbles down. And this is just so mad. I don't know what's going to go on. 25 seconds. Half the point has been capped already. The respawns are coming in.
Oh, here come the respawners. They are in one massive wave, so let's see if they can buy some time. 18 seconds remaining. They need to get on this point and block it. The damage comes down from the stickies. Nebula unplugs, gets the butter knife onto Magister, and they are defending it. There's Pahan raining damage down. Sebastiani has gone big brain and has gone vaccinated to defend his team. On the blue side, I would quite like to see the same thing, but he's opting for Medigun rather than Quick Fix or Vaccinator as they cap out. Well, they don't cap it out. They manage to defend it eventually as a 5-3 scoreline comes in.
Absolutely huge one. You know, a 7-minute 20 time, we think, oh wow, that's not going to be a great time for Pizza Police, and then they hold B for 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, they must have got this in the bag. And then there's just drops, there's med picks, there's just everything happening all over the place. And in the end, it does mean that Pizza Police will take that round and equalize things out in this match. And we'll be going to a golden cap now to decide who's going to get the lion's share of the points. We are on the golden cap round now between Kitty's bakenbardami and Ugandan Pizza Police. Kitty managed to win the first round, but Pizza Police did bounce back to tie things up. So into the golden cap, the winner of this will take home 4 points for the season, and the loser will just take home 2. And I do think Kitty will have had a bigger playoff aspirations coming into this season than Pizza Police, who maybe have just been focusing on survival. So they will definitely be wanting to get this third round on the board. Whereas Pizza Police, I think, will be a little bit more content. And, you know, they're just going to be saying, hey, we got a round. Let's see if we get another and just even improve our standing, leapfrog our opponents in the table.
You've got to imagine the pressure is now on Kitty. You know, they've got to be feeling it. They've got to be thinking, guys, we're better than this. We can destroy these guys. Especially coming into this golden cap, and that's when players start making mistakes. You see it time and time again at LAN tournaments. You see it in pressurized playoff positions in Premiership division in sixes. You see it in Highlander all the time, and players do have the ability to choke. But if they put what they know and what they've practiced together, then I'm sure they'll be able to do it. As we are seeing the first frag come out, as Cloudy is actually first blooded in that spawn area, gets headshot down. But it looks like Boshi actually bringing the heals out of spawn early.
Yeah, and the thing is, Nebula is alive on A, and he'll have seen that. And that's the thing, you know, Fridge is trying to look around, and Nebula isn't really going to be going for a frag here. He's going to try and fist him. It doesn't quite work out. Lands one punch, but not a second. But yeah, the fact that Nebula has seen that, he's going to say, hey, guys, they have their medic with them. They may be going for an E-push here. And Cloudy does get an arrow kill onto Kazuki. And you can see the rotate coming in from Pizza Police. They want to try and get some people into this corridor and deny the E-cap.
Or Meath gets body shot on the E point. They say, nope, you are not doing an A to E rush, ladies and gentlemen. You are getting out of here. And they immediately retreat back in towards this B point. But now they've dragged that aggression. They've actually managed to move the sentry gun with that. Like I mentioned previously, the sentry gun can only be in one place. And now that they've got brought through, oh, Boshi gets headshot by Fundo. Oh no, that's not what you want. He just gets absolutely annihilated. Sebastiani did have to use that Uber actually because they got super close, but it does mean that he's going to be able to build an Uber advantage here. It's not going to be much obviously because the attacking side is faster respawners, but that is exactly what you need.
I mean, if you're opening the playbook, step 1 they did correctly, step 2 they did correctly, step 3 was awesome as well. And then step 4, all you had to do was not drop and take an Uber exchange, and Kitty would have been in the ascendancy here. But they are actually getting some frags. They take out Skyper and Sack and Fundo, so they don't have to worry about getting headshot now. They don't have to worry about getting spammed or any sort of area denial. And despite Boshi dropping there, they are actually going to cap out this B point, and they will have a little bit of momentum potentially go towards C as well. You can see they're already going through this corridor. Turek is leading the charge, taking a bit between his teeth and being like, hey, come on, team. Let's not one drop ruin the game for us.
Yeah, they're going to be holding that W key, supporting their medic in his endeavour. He has a stressful job as it is. Cloudy walks through the sticky bomb, sacrificing his life for his comrades as they run into this corridor. Plux is just going to take down Nebula immediately with the post, but Sack is there with the air blast to blast this demo man away from the rest of his team. Pluxer manages to escape in behind, and it is going to be as well Boshi escaping after using that Uber. It went kind of terribly. Sebastiani still has his Uber, actually gets forced there as he drops onto the low ground, and they're not going to be doing anything with his Uber, just making sure that Sack can get in there. Manages to jump onto the high ground, however, but they're not going to find anything whatsoever with that Uber charge. But Boshi did in fact die in the end.
Yeah, Meef is actually trying to bat Redwood to death, and he survives with 10 HP. So, yeah, pretty equal footing, both sides here. Flank is dead for Pizza Police, so, you know, maybe opens up some abusing potentials over on the other side of the map, but the other side of the map is essentially the E point right now, and the only person there is Dragon Slayer, and his sentry's just going to watch that point, and he's just going to try and make sure no one caps it out. But Poi dying 25 seconds in the respawn queue. Actually, Magista's going to survive from Sack due to the conch from Turek, and he's going to help out his spy buddy there. Never seen a spy survive due to a conch push. Look at Turek, he's just walking forward. Where's his team? Pluria jumps in, and manages to pipe down Seb. Medic down. Boshi is also alive. It's just about whether they're going to seal out this C point or wait for the respawns.
That was huge from Pluxer, managing to find the medic with what was nearly an absolute failure of a play there. Manages to make it work at the end. And that sentry gun from Marissa, actually I can hear it going off quite a lot in my left ear. And it means that he is managing to defend down some pressure onto that E point from the red side. But it looks like they're not going to be opting to try and get this E point whatsoever. Dragon has actually managed to get that sentry gun down, so no scout's going to get on it. It's in a super hard spammable position there, but Dragon actually getting low, does actually rescue Ranger his sentry gun to try and keep it alive as they get that pressure down. They manage to take it down eventually, and as soon as it is taken down, Miaf is immediately going to be going for that capture onto that E point now. So we have got some bodies from the red side going to be rotating around, and this is going to buy the space that we talked about previously in towards that C site and potentially open up a capture.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you want to do. You want to pull them apart by the seams. Spread the players around. You can see Poi and Sebastian and Fundo. They're all watching this E point. Meef accidentally tumbles into the pit there. Blueho is actually trying to spam people into the spawn. And they do die. He does die as well as Fridge. So this is all getting a little bit awkward here. Poi with a couple of kills, takes down Cloudy and Bahan. We see another Kazuki's into the pit this time. And this is all getting very messy, and I think the sum total of what we can say is nothing has changed over the past few minutes. Turek is inevitably, not going to die there, gets saved, and I do think Kitty are going to be able to get some sort of control on the C point.
Yeah, I mean, I've decided now, my favourite part of this map is the pit. It's just so funny to watch people jump into it. We've had Sebastiani, we've had Meef, we've had Kazuki, all leaping into the point for glory. One thing I'd like to point out as well is that Marissa actually has revenge crits on the Frontier Justice, so that threatening engineer is now becoming a whole lot worse as he gets headshot and dies. Okay, he drops a sentry gun as well. That's Caster's curse if I've ever seen it.
You'd not even finished the sentence before he was, just even thinking about it was enough. And Fundo started to pop off a little bit here. He's on a 7 kill streak as he takes down Pluha, so no demo. And 5:28, very similar time to Pizza Police's attacking phase in that second round. And Cloudy is now watching through this little cheeky angle underneath the ramp. Can he get a shot onto Fundo? No, he's going to get taken down by Redwood. And it seems right now that there's not really any opening picks coming out of Kitty. They're not getting any kills that are really opening things up for them. They're getting some trades. Sack and Redwood are down. Pyro and Demo, two of the most important classes on this map. But with just the last 2 points to push, they need to be pushing one of these points with some sort of conviction as they take a trade in the White Room.
Yeah, but they're not really getting too much out of anything here. They are really struggling to now get inside. They've managed, like you mentioned previously, they managed to get the C point, and they should be able to go for this D point. Cloudy is going to be peeking up through that top window as well, using the aggression that they've managed to find by getting that map advantage. But it's difficult now. I mean, we've got a spy trying to get on top of Sebastiani. He's actually trying to revolver him down. Doesn't really find anything here, and they are being absolutely cyber-bullied right now. Fundo's on a 10k.
I think that's a higher kill streak than the pit now. So, Yeah, really impressive from Fundo, who's really stepped it up this round and is just denying. I mean, when you have a sniper consistently getting kills like that, you're always a player down. It can be very, very frustrating. And Poi is actually just hiding around the corner.
My God.
Oh, wow. They use the conch. That speed boost enables them to just catch up to Boshi, take him down. And this is not looking good for Kitty right now.
Yeah, it's looking absolutely awful. Like I mentioned before, they could be having some mental warfare problems going on right now, trying to battle back their own emotions to win this game. But it looks like Sebastiano still has his supercharge. The capture time is now being baited by Meath, and he's going to return back to that point. But Sack knows it's happening. He's just going to go off to the flank, break that bicycle. The spy is insanely low as well, so he's going to be trying to ferry up some packs as well. As we have got Poi going on to Meath, does a great job of taking him down. And I've not seen Magus. What? He's a Jedi.
He's a Jedi.
Wow. Look at this man.
Can he do it? I mean, Skypro actually just killed Boshi, but I do agree that that was the most interesting thing to be going on right now. Poi on a 9 kill streak, by the way. If he gets one more, he'll be matching Fundo's earlier 10k. But they're losing a lot of players now, Lucky, and finally it does look like Kitty have this opportunity to get some pressure onto the E point.
Finally! Taking them long enough. I mean, they are struggling here really badly. Meath gets... Okay, Poison on 11k now. Redwood actually getting cleaned up there. So no demo man. This is going to open up opportunities now onto this E point. I believe Skyper gets weak as well and lower. And it looks like Plux has just been bullying this engineer back. Poi is low as well. Going to have to eat a sandwich in his closet. As Meath is just going to run in and meat shot him in the rear. And he's just going to kill bind actually. But it looks like this E point now being captured up. These respawners are coming in. But they've made it super difficult now for them to escape the spawn here. Bahan is super far forwards as well. Magister finds a stab, another stab onto Redwood in fact, so him going down now going to buy them this point. I think that is mostly all it's going to be now. 20-second respawner on Redwood.
Yeah, and that is huge denial that you really want on this point. Fundo also going down for another 25 seconds, and they have everywhere pretty locked up. Pahan's in the high ground. We see Fridge and Turek in the BC connector, and Boshi just being that kind of core on the point. But 9:28 is not a time you want to be getting on steel these days, especially not in Prem, and especially not when we've seen some pretty fast attacking phases so far. I mean, I said this in the second round and kind of jinxed it, I guess. But if Pizza Police do what they did in the previous round, then they win. I said that about Kitty, and then they couldn't do it. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe Kitty will just become absolutely unstoppable, and they won't be able to be broken down from the B point. But Pizza Police are going to be sitting pretty right now, and they're going to be quite confident.
They just need to carry this confidence that they've now got out into the next part of this game. I think Pluxer is actually... Okay, they're on Kritzkrieg. There is a crit sticky behind the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
They're popping this crit streak. They're setting up these crit sticky traps everywhere, actually. It looks like they're going to just go for a bit of a weird A defense. They're not actually going to have an uber charge for this B point just yet, but I feel like they're not going to know that unless the spy has actually spy checked the medigun. Boshi only at 50% despite that pre-game super healing. Okay, he's now managed to get it up there, up to 80%. But I doubt that's going to be anything really as Meath goes down on this first point, and they spot the crit stickies. Kasuki goes down, 2 Pluxer there. So that is at least 1 pick, and that will slow them down a tiny amount.
Yeah, I mean, that ×2 cap is going to make all the difference. I mean, every little counts, right? Every little helps.
Well, I mean, hasn't it got like a maximum capture rate of 5?
It has diminishing returns. So,
yes.
You do get more cap time, but it's really minimal. So it's a kill, but it does look like Pizza Police want to make this into an E-push, sending the majority of their team all the way through to the BC connector. Meath with the cleaver takes down Redwood, and they're actually going all the way behind here. They're doing the huge flank. Dragon Slayer's in behind. He's going to get taken down by the sentry, and somehow nobody
roasted.
Dies from Kitty.
Absolutely roasted. That sentry gun turned around and wrangled them all into oblivion. And there was nothing they could do about it. That was it. That's all she wrote. The sentry gun just put in work. Nebula tried to come in for a stab, but Pahan was on it and just Tommy slapped him to death. And Cloudy now has these arrows. Actually managed to take down Nebula somehow. Redwood now just to be trying to destroy that sentry gun, but the Wrangler shield putting in the work. Unable to take down that sentry. Poi actually destroys that teleporter. Immediately gets taken down by the rockets from the sentry gun, however. That Wrangle gun taking no damage from the grenades is just putting in so much work.
Yeah, and Pluha realizes the danger from the high ground
Nebula!
because... Oh, Nebula, yeah, with the backstab. And Fridge, though, has the hammer. He's been a pipe bro right now. And that sentry is going to stay alive. But there's a level 3 sentry from Dragon Slayer who gets just instantly destroyed. Now Turek jumps up to the high ground, and Pluha manages to take down both the sniper and the medic, and everyone's trying to pile in from Pizza Police right now, but nobody is dying other than that stab by Nebula onto Marissa at the start of this engagement. Nobody from the Russian side has died. They've all been falling by the wayside, and just look, they're already back on the high ground. They're already getting back into position where they're going to be comfortable.
Alright, new play, CeeJaey, new play. AE rush, go.
I mean, they tried the AE flank, which worked out really well for them. I just think that they're doing it, but they have Uber Disad. Sak is so far forward and doesn't get the force. Does help take down Pluha though, so no demo to block this point.
Boshi used Uber.
Oh.
I'm not sure why. It's a very questionable reason as to why he popped that Uber. He was under no pressure, his players weren't being pressured, and he just used. So I don't know whether it was a fat finger or if he meant to. But anyway, now that that Uber is out of the way, Sebastiani now actually has advantage. And they are getting cat time down onto this point. They're about a fifth done. So that's actually a relatively large amount if you know CP Steel, E caps rate relative to the amount of other capture points you've had. But we were talking about it before, that they need to draw them away at the seams, and that's precisely what they've done here. They managed to drag all these players away from this B point, and that meant they all went into the spawn door because they're now trying to block E, which meant they got some pressure down to B. But now they've decided to all in for the E point as they managed to get halfway.
Yeah, I mean, taking down Boshi, and this B spawn door, it can be opened and it can be easy to defend people, and Fridge is trying to do it with the flares, but one of the people on the point is a pyro, so he can just not take the damage. And also Airblast's teammate Kazuki is on the point. The cap is so close, and Fridge manages to get the kill, throws himself into the pit as a sacrifice. Take me, but block the point as well. But Red was just going to jump onto it now, and unless someone kills him, he does get taken down by Boshi of all people, but then Fundo domes him, and it's going to be all over. Pizza Police will take the third round, will take the golden cap, winning this map 2-1 in this week 3 fixture, and they'll be moving up onto the table, leapfrogging their opponents. Kitty will have to look to the last 2 fixtures to try and get enough points to move into those top places. I've been CeeJaey, joined by ArchRhythm on production, and Lucky jumping in last minute to join us for the cast. Shout out to Manco Store, of course, for sponsoring Chriscast, and of course we have plenty of social media and merch on offer if you would like to check that out on the respective websites. We'll of course be having more games for you in the future. There are some more games this Sunday for more Highlander, and of course we'll be trying to cover any sort of action coming your way. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, old beaver! Away!